Mr. Latimer, welcome to Warehouse 13.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another review episode. Today I'll be reviewing Warehouse 13. Spoiler warning is in effect as always, so if you haven't seen the show, please do so. But if you're still watching, thank you for watching. Two Secret Service agent Pete Latimer, portrayed by Eddie McClintock, and Micah Baring, portrayed by Joanna Kelly, are recruited by a mysterious woman calling herself Mrs. Fredericks, portrayed by CCH Pounder, to a warehouse in South Dakota. There they meet Artie, portrayed by Saul Rubnik, and learn how supernatural the world really is. As more people join the adventure of collecting mystical artifacts and storing it in the warehouse, people with menacing intentions start to surround the warehouse. Top seasons. Number 5, Season 1. As Pete and Micah stumbles into the world of artifact, their perspective on life changes as they start seeing the world in endless wonder. But as Pete and Micah tags and bags these artifacts in the world, they learn others outside the warehouse know about the artifact. One of them is using them for evil actions and learn how dangerous these artifacts are when they are in the hands of evil. Number 4, Season 5. The final 6th episode of Warehouse 13 concludes the show with a promise of endless wonder. As the show comes to an end, the show finally brings Micah and Pete's relationship to a romantic one. The show ends in a happy ending as the team uses King Arthur's table to store their memories and show how wonder is endless. Number 3, Season 4. As the show deals with the warehouse being destroyed by the House of Common Masonry block, an artifact described as the nuclear artifact, and the Pandora's box being released, causing hope to dissipate. The team tries to reverse the action of Walter Sykes, portrayed by Anthony Michael Hall, and bring hope back. Since each artifact has its consequence, after reverting Sykes' action using Ferdinand Mangelis' astrolabe, the first half of the season explores Dark Artie. In the second half, the team has to put back the Chinese orchid before the sweaty sickness kills everyone in the world, and the consequence of seeking help from the Count and the Countess of Saint Germain, portrayed by James Marster and Polly Walker, is a high price to pay. Number 2, Season 2. As Micah and Pete learn the true evil the artifact can have on the world, they meet H.G. Wells, portrayed by Jamie Murray. As Micah and Pete learn, H.G. Wells is not a man, but a woman who worked for Warehouse 12 in London in the 1890s. The team debates whether H.G. Wells is a good guy or a bad guy. As she joins the team by the choice of Mr. Kusan, portrayed by Farhan Tahir, H.G. betrays the team and tries to destroy the world using Minoan's trident. There is also a crossover between Eureka, and the two shows how similar the shows are, but different they are to one another. Number 1, Season 3. As Micah decides to retire from the warehouse after the events of Season 2, Pete gets a new partner named Steve Jenks, portrayed by Aaron Ashmore. As Pete tries to get Micah to come back to the warehouse, she decides to do so with a slight push from HG. As the show reveals how Pete's mother is one of the regents, the tension becomes high as they face a foe who is willing to destroy the warehouse to get Carlos Collodi's bracelet back, which ends in an explosive end which takes the life of a team and the warehouse itself, making the viewers wonder what's to come. Top 10 episodes. Number 10, The New Guy, Season 3, Episode 1. As the team becomes short-handed after Micah retires, Mrs. Frederick recruits an ATF agent who can tell when someone is lying or not. As the team gets acquainted with Steve, they catch a case that involves William Shakespeare's Los Folio, causing Pete to visit Micah for literature expertise. As Micah decides to help Pete and Steve solve the case, a new enemy is teased. In the end, Micah chooses to rejoin the warehouse as HG convinces her to stay and look forward to the endless wonders. Number 9, The Great Gift, Season 3, Episode 13. As the team heads off to their Christmas holidays, Pete is left at the warehouse to clean. When Pete starts cleaning the Christmas aisle, he accidentally touches Philip Van Doren Stern's upholstery brush, causing him to be erased out of existence. He then puts all the former teams back together to defeat McPherson, portrayed by Roger Rees, and Pete is rewritten back into existence. Number 8, 13.1, Season 2, Episode 5, The crossover between Eureka and Warehouse 13 was very interesting, as the worlds of science and supernatural collide. Douglas Fargo, portrayed by Neil Grayson, visits the warehouse to upgrade the warehouse computing system. In doing so, they trigger a computer system alert created by Hugo Miller, portrayed by Renee Aljabonis, as Pete and Micah brings Hugo back to the warehouse. They are able to shut down the security detail. Meanwhile, Claudia and Fargo grow close as they are the only two who speaks computer and nerd in the warehouse. Number 7. Endless, Season 5, Episode 6. As Warehouse 13 comes to a close, the show gives a meaningful ending with the team using King Arthur's round table to store their favorite memories into it, like a memory capsule. As each member shares their favorite memory, Pete desperately finds a way to stop the warehouse from moving to a different location. As Micah convinces Pete that he won't be able to change anything, they start their romantic relationship, which should have happened sooner. As Pete finally touches the table, it is revealed that Pete's memorable memory isn't just one case, but it is all the cases he worked at during his time working at the warehouse. In the end, the warehouse decides not to move, and the team work together until they decide to retire, except for Claudia, who decides to be the caretaker and runs the warehouse for now. Number 6. Past Imperfect, Season 3, Episode 7. As Pete and Micah work on an artifact case in Denver, Micah sees a familiar face, the person who killed her partner. As Micah and Pete seeks Denver's Secret Service's help, they find an artifact connection to the case, allowing Micah to get closure she needs. Meanwhile, Steve and Claudia and Artie try to discover who stole the doorknob from the Triangle Shirt factory by using a dog as the witness. Number 5. All the Time in the World, Season 4, Episode 19. As Claudia is bronzed by Paracelsus, portrayed by Anthony Stewart Head, the team becomes desperate to debronze her before it's too late. As the team confronts the Countess of Saint Germain, they learn the history of Paracelsus and what she has done to her husband, and her son. The team and the Saint Germains are able to locate Paracelsus' lab and are able to debronze Claudia. Number 4. Pilot, Season 1, Episode 1. When Pete and Micah learns about the warehouse, their first reaction was to request an immediate transfer, but as they are sent on an assignment, they start to enjoy their job. As Artie figures out the artifact in use is Louise Borghi's comb, he warns the two it is an extremely dangerous artifact. As Pete and Micah solve their first artifact case, they decide to stay and see what endless wonder awaits them. Number 3. Runaway, Season 4, Episode 16. Pete and Micah partner up with Steve to investigate a prison break caused by an incendiary device. During this, Steve reunites with his ex-boyfriend, and Pete and Micah tries to grill information out of Steve. Meanwhile, Artie prepares a birthday party for Claudia. As the team wraps up the case, they celebrate Claudia's birthday, and Artie brings cherry curry as a gift for Claudia. Number 2. Reset, Season 2, Episode 12. As Itsuji's true intention of being at the warehouse is revealed, the team must hurry before she uses the Minoan Triangle on Yellowstone Park. As the team tracks her down, Micah is able to talk her out of using the trident and stop a volcanic cataclysm. But as Micah feels guilty for not seeing the signs of HG, she leaves the warehouse, leaving a letter to Pete. Here's some honorable mentions. Number 1. Stan, Season 3, Episode 12. As the team mourns Steve's death, Pete and Mike are sent to China to figure out how the Kataranka, portrayed by Eric Avadi, sealed Warehouse 7. As HG is forced to open the gateway to the Warehouse 13 to save Micah, the team is unable to stop Sykes from getting the bracelet, and the warehouse blows up. As of any supernatural show, the show is unique because only objects are supernatural, and they do not show any supernatural being. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Monday for another video.